you guys enjoy this picture of Changbin on my phone. It was actually a gift from one of the students at my job. While I'm out in nature, I tend to like journaling. I know journaling is not necessarily for everyone. It's really hard to do in the beginning because you just want to write down 1,000,001 things or nothing at all. I kind of wanted to go a little bit more into the conversation of feeling stuck. I think this time is a little bit confusing. I'm turning 25 and I feel like I haven't necessarily done much with my life, but within the last couple of months, I've kind of felt like I was at crossroads in my life. Lord Jesus, there's so many bugs. I've done everything that I wanted to do. I've reached financial goals. I'm able to live a comfortable life. I have my savings goals. I've done a lot of things within this year alone and a lot of things that I've had on my bucket list to do. I went through like a very emotional journey. I went through a spiritual journey. I went through a financial journey. I went through a fitness journey. I went through my yogi journey. I've gone through everything you could go through within a year. I now find myself feeling like, now what? I focused so much on reaching these goals that I never considered what I would do when I finally reached them. The act of trying to achieve something is just so draining and overwhelming that you never take the time to actually consider what would you do. Imagine your dream life, your dream job, your dream partner, your dream apartment, and imagine if you got all of those things today. What exactly would you do with those things? An example of even like a dream partner. Having a dream partner, what are you going to do when someone is everything you want them to be? Being in a relationship is not just a one-sided thing. Unless you're my ex, then yes, it is. I can't reach these goals, and I'm now at the point where I know I have to take a big step. I just don't necessarily know what it is. So now I'm turning 25. I kind of feel like it's now or never, but it's so weird because I know it's that case, but I don't know what the now is. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I feel so lost and I feel so stuck. One thing I feel like I'm lacking a lot in my life is just experience outside of the area that I live in. In order to combat that, I decided to leave. And it's kind of overwhelming to say that because I've known I've always wanted to leave. I've known for a very long time that this was not my end place. And truthfully, I feel like so many things in my life have happened to prevent me from growing roots here. There's so many different examples. The most obvious one is like, I'm no longer in a relationship with someone who wants to stay here. And that means I have the freedom to leave and I'm not held back or held down by another person whose life is supposed to be built here and mine isn't. One of my favorite things to do is to talk to people who are a little bit older than me to see their opinions on it, specifically older women. When I have these conversations with strangers about what should I do, I'm so stressed out, I don't know what to do, and I feel so overwhelmed with my experience in life that I don't realize that like some of those women would love to be in my shoes where they don't have kids, they don't have a partner or a husband, they don't feel like they're stuck in a certain life. I have that freedom, and weirdly enough, having that freedom actually kind of overwhelms me. So it's interesting to see that I've become everything I've wanted to be, and that in itself kind of overwhelms me and makes me scared. But I have to realize that I have the life that I have because not only was it a little bit of hard work, but it was also like a little bit of luck. And I feel so extremely grateful for my experiences that I've had so far that led me here. Despite that, I'm still very overwhelmed. I don't know. When I feel this way, I tend to get into a little funk. The most important thing for me to do is just leave. You can't stay in a situation that hinders your growth and expect to grow. Not every, rose grows out of the concrete. Sometimes it's important to move to soil. I've manifested new things. I know some people don't like the rah, hoo manifestation thing. It's not even just about manifesting and think that there's like some almighty being or like magic in the universe to cause you to get what you want. It's just being able to finally say out loud the things that you want from life and in your life and take the next steps steps to achieve it. Acknowledging that I want something more in life is the first step. The things that I want are bigger than the place that I live in, and I have to kind of separate myself from that, but it's hard. This is my hometown, and this is where I grew up, and this is where my family is. It's hard to separate from people that you love and care about. I feel so lucky to have so many people on this planet who genuinely care about me and love me to the point where I feel comfortable enough to take big steps like this. My life is filled with so much love and happiness, and I'm constantly surrounded by it that sometimes I get overwhelmed by it and I'm like, leave me alone, let me sit in the corner. Being loved is not something to look at as a burden. It's such a beautiful thing, but that could also be the fact that some people just don't have a support system, and I do, and with their strength and with mine, it pushes me to move forward in my life, and that's something to be grateful for. Despite that, I can admit that I feel some type of guilt for wanting more in my life. Sometimes I feel like, why can't the life that I have be enough for me? And I kind of just like throw myself this pity party of I should feel bad for wanting to leave, for wanting to do things, for, you know, saving my money for trips instead of houses. But I shouldn't feel bad for wanting to experience life in a different way. My life is very different from the women around me specifically. By the time my mom was my age, she had 3 kids and a mortgage. Both of my sisters have kids, and I'm sitting here as someone who's about to hit their mid-20s, and I think I'm quite literally one of the only people, and more specifically, I'm quite literally the only woman in my family who's made it to this age without kids or a partner. Granted, I was very close to living that life, but I think everything exists and everything happens for a reason, and I'm so grateful that it didn't happen in that way, because the life experiences that I've had within this last year have been things that I never thought I would ever be able to even touch. If I have any advice for people who are in my predicament where they feel very stuck and overwhelmed, a part of you already knows the answer, and the answer is the thing that scares you the most. Whatever that is to you, I would suggest just doing it. If it doesn't work out, you know what? You could say you tried. And truthfully, that's more than what anyone else on this planet could say. The thing is that now that I'm turning 25, now I'm getting to the point where I'm young and I'm not taking advantage of my youth. I don't necessarily have responsibilities. You know, I don't got kids. I don't got to go that hard. I have such a beautiful privilege in my life to be able to wake up every day and live life how I want to. How many people could say that? I just need to get to the point where I look at that as a privilege and not as a burden. So again, anyone who's in the same predicament as me, who feels a little bit overwhelmed with the life that they have and the situation that they're in, I know you're looking at the situation thinking, oh, I can't do it because of this reason, that reason. One thing that I will say is I was constantly a realist in my life. I'm now starting to realize that being a realist has gotten me absolutely fucking nowhere. Being realistic and being safe isn't always the best way to live, because an example of my life is I did everything right and still my life did not become what I wanted it to be. Being real and being safe put me in situations of misery. It put me around the wrong people. It had me date the wrong people. It had me live every day of my life so miserable that I didn't even want to wake up. And the crazy thing is these last couple of months, I've specifically been living my life based off of how I feel and not the safety net that I want to give myself. And I still met my goals tenfold. Sometimes you do need to take chances in life, and it's scary and overwhelming. And there's going to be so many people telling you you're wrong for taking the next step and moving forward, or just moving at all. If they were in your shoes, would they do the same thing? Probably not. Does it really fucking matter though? It doesn't matter, because they're not in your shoes and they're never going to live your life. The thing that keeps you up at night will only keep you up at night. The life that you live is yours. No one else is going to live it. No one else is going to see it from your perspective, no matter how many times you explain it. So just live it how you want to. And the one thing that I realized is you're only as stuck as you make yourself seem. I spent at least the last couple of years living every day of my life the same way. And I fucking hated it. I hated it. I felt like I had no control in my life. I felt like I was living my life for other people, and I was constantly miserable. It's funny because my last birthday was hard for me for a multitude of reasons, but when I went home and I laid in my bed at the end of the day alone on my birthday, I promised to myself at the year of 24, I will spend prepping myself for my 25th birthday, and then once I get to my 25th birthday, I'm going to take a trip and I'm going to do something that I've always been afraid of doing. And I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and I'm doing the things that I want to do scared, and that's what everybody needs to do. Just because someone lives a better life than you doesn't mean that it's easy for them to do it. They rather live through the difficulty of fear than live through the comfortability of mediocrity. And with that, I think I'm done. This is why I do not journal, because I get really emotional and want to talk about my feelings. See you next video, guys. Bye, my lovelies.